Hello, 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 you all. I have a little time in traffic. So let's live stream. Come in, hit that like and share button no matter what platform you are watching on, whether it be Facebook, YouTube. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, support the channel by subscribing. Make sure that subscribe is in gray. It shows in gray on your mobile phone or your laptop, not in red. Make sure you're subscribing right next to that subscribe button. Hit that bell. That will give you a notification whenever I live stream so you won't miss any of the videos. Um, I have a great, I think, email that was emailed to me today, so I want to address that question. The question is exactly what is an instant pay raise? How can I help people, or how do I help people get more money starting with their very next paycheck? I call it also a paycheck pay raise. And I'm going to explain it very simple, right? How this work is most people identify with taxes when it comes to tax refund, right? They know that the government, although paying taxes on the money you make is not a very old concept, there was a time before World War I that the employees who worked saved 100% of their income. There was no such thing as taxes, and then taxation was brought to the American people as a form to um, fund and help support World War I. And the people thought that they were doing a patriotic act, right, and helping the United States fight the enemies. And so, however, that stayed in doctrine. They kept up the taxation system after that. Now, let's break down taxes. What most people don't may not realize that your federal taxes does not go to support your better schools, better roads, better interstates, better highways. No, it doesn't pay for your fireman salary, your firefighters, your teacher salaries, right? Your policeman salary. No, that's what state taxes is for. Now, without getting into this on a deeper level, federal taxes is a private entity, right? It's a private cartel of rich and wealthy families, right? That's where your tax dollar goes. It's not operated by the government. When President Trump was in office, for example, you heard President Trump say numerous of times about the feds, because the Fed and the government is not the same. Many people think that's true. So the federal, although the Fed and government, when it comes to taxes, often those titles are mentioned in the same entity, is not the same. Your Federal Reserve, right, is a cartel of rich and wealthy family. Always has been, always will be. So how taxation work is off of the energy and effort of people through labor, through a job, that Federal Reserve System, the rich cartel of rich and wealthy families, take a percentage because the Fed at one point had to loan money to the government. The government had to go to the wealthiest men as the government system of the United States dollars was failing. And so in the 1930s, right, gold and silver was only known as money. So you had this cartel of families that still pass on generational wealth, like J.P. Morgan, Rothschilds, Rockefeller, while the hardworking American people are people that pay the highest tax, which are employees and self-employed persons, do not position themselves to pass on generational wealth, right? And so the concept of understanding your paycheck taxes is very important, because paycheck taxes is just as important in understanding filing your taxes back for income tax season, your W 2 taxes. I want you to pause and think about this. And you all come in, say hello, let me know where you are tuning in from. Drop your city and state in the comment section. But I want you to think about this. You're taxed on the money if you're an employee that every pay period that you're through FICA, right? Your federal and state taxes, and then you have Social Security and Medicare. So you're taxed on the money that you make, and that's called your um, net income. You're taxed on the net income. So what you get is your gross income. So what you get is the net. Now your gross already looks gross, right? And then so that is even more deducted. If you're an employee, on average, when you add, if you're living in a state that also taxes, you're on average to 30 to 40% combined, right? Unless you live in Nevada or Florida or Texas, then they get you in other taxes such as your toll fees and other ways, but you're not taxed out of your paycheck. So employees are taxed first, then small business owners, although they are not taxed upfront or maybe 1099 independent contractors, they are taxed the worst. 80% of small business owners fail because of uh, not having the capital to stay in operation, not having the cash flow, right? So what happens is you're not taught this, although you're taught geometry in school, right? You're taught algebraic equations. You're taught the Pythagorean theory, right? You're taught all of these things in school that about 90% of it you don't apply when you graduate and enter into the real world, right? But you're not taught about taxes. You're not taught about your FICO score, your credit score. You're not taught about what makes up your credit score. You're not taught about things of how to get a positive credit score. You're not taught about what's the difference, for example, of installment credit versus revolving debt credit. You're not taught about what percentage to pay your revolving credit cards, whether it's from 0% or keeping it at a ratio under 30% to keep and maintain the highest credit scores. And you're not taught how to leverage credit to build wealth and accumulate assets. You're not taught these things in school, right? Now that I made you aware that you're not taught these things in school, now that I have your attention, there's no reason to fight a losing battle and say things like, yeah, we should have been taught this in school. Why won't they teach us this in school? Well, you can get an informal education. You can get an informal financial education. In fact, Jim Rohn said it this way: an informal education can make you a living or make you a fortune. An informal education can make you a fortune. A formal education can make you a living. The great late Jim Rohn says informal education can make you a fortune, but a formal education can make you a living. So there's a lot of information on it, a lot of it free on social media today that can help you understand credit and finances. I want to help you understand the difference between payroll tax and your W 2 taxation. So back to the gross and net scenario, right? Your gross is already gross and they take taxes out of it, and that becomes your net, which means that's your net operating expenses that you have, income that you have to live off of. Most people don't know, just like they have tax professionals, tax experts. Unfortunately, maybe their cousin, right? Or, um, some type of um, other tax return businesses that's only around during the tax season, right? That's not operable or you can't find them year round, only around during tax season. Just like you have tax people, or maybe you do your own taxes. Maybe you go online and do it yourself, and you file your own tax returns on your W 2. There are tax professionals and tax experts that can make an adjustment to your paycheck and reduce the amount of taxes that's being taken out of your paycheck, right? On average, I help people. Hello, Mr. Woods, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hashtag hashtagging live. Trying to talk and focus at the same time. I have some business owners, for example, and this is called an income shifting concept, who is shifting money away from the feds and shifting it back to themselves and their family. They decided, listen, I'm not going to make another family rich while my family suffer. I'm not going to um, do tax manipulation, but I'm going to do tax maximization. What does tax maximization mean? It means it's maximizing while you're also minimizing the amount of taxes that come out of your paycheck, so you can increase your take home pay, so you can have bigger paydays. It's putting your paycheck on steroids. And it's a very, very simple but powerful strategy that does that. All you have to do is tie into what I call a 470 business model. That means you get 470 tax write offs, also known as tax deductions. As an employee, you only get tax exemptions and you only get 9 of those. So that's like going to war with 9 knives against an army that has 570 swords, right? 470 swords. You have 9 knives fighting, and this opposing or the enemy has 470 swords. So when you add this 470 tax write-offs, these tax benefits, these extra tax deductions legally, that are legal loopholes that the rich and wealthy have knowledge about. They pass on financial literacy and they pass on financial education. Once you pass on financial literacy and financial education, that's the only way to pass on generational wealth, right? That's the only way to pass on generational wealth. Action makes money. You can make money by performing actions, but it is your wisdom and your knowledge. The word wisdom in the Bible translates to skills. It is your wisdom, right? And knowledge, your skill set, your knowledge, your mindset that keeps and grow and multiply money. And so what does this do, right? When I did credit repair services about 3 years ago, when people wanted to call and get a consultation for free, they didn't want to invest in my time, or they wanted me to talk and hear about their situations and just pick up the phone and hear and vent and talk about credit. They didn't want to invest in getting it fixed. Usually the people that wanted the phone conversation was like that. The people I never talked to that were serious, we communicated via text and email. They signed up, they invested, they got the results, right? Usually people that want to be whole conversations are money wasters. That was good. I like that. People that want to hold conversations are money wasters. People that are action oriented, all they have to know is, how does this help me and how do I get started? That's it. Send me the information, send me the link. I'm not wasting time. I need more money. I need to maximize my paycheck. I need to put my paycheck on steroids. People with that mindset don't waste time. They don't waste time because they understand that time is more valuable than money. Now, again, when I was doing credit repair, I used to tell people that said, can I pick up the phone? I just need 5 minutes of your time. They wanted a conversation, right? Can I call you? Why do you charge for consultations? And my response used to be, because time is money. I can never get my time back. But then I learned, as I matured and I became more financially educated, that time is more valuable than money, because I can lose money and I can get that money back, right? But I can never regain my time back. Once your time is up, it is gone. Money can be replaced. Your time cannot. Once your time is up, it's gone. So what I did was start taking my time back by giving, I got more time back by giving less of my hard-earned money away. Because I can redeem, the Bible says, talks about redeeming the time. I can buy back my time. Yeah, you can buy back your time. If you become a millionaire overnight, you have just bought back years of labor from your past work, your past energy, because now all you have ahead of you, being that you remain in good health, is time. Because now you have the money to create time and create memories for things that you didn't have the money to finance before. Now, if you hit $1 million overnight, you may be 61, but I promise you, you'll wake up the next morning feeling 21. You can buy back time. You can buy back time, but it takes money to do that, right? Anyone that says money cannot make you happy, they are absolutely correct. They are absolutely correct because the Bible says money will bring you joy, right? The Bible says, I will make you rich and I will add no sorrow. The Bible says in Matthew 25 that the two workers who multiplied the money that they were given by their boss, when the boss returned and saw that they took steps to multiply the money, their boss told them to enter into the joy of the Lord. The Lord means your master, your supervisor, whoever you take orders from. He said, enter into my joy. So multiplying your money does not bring happiness. You're right. It brings joy, according to the Bible. It brings joy, right? Now, so you have to understand the strategy and the concept of having tax experts, not only to fix your taxes on your W-2, but to fix your taxes on your paycheck. Fix your taxes on your paycheck. On average, virtually people on my team, someone just came in, $714 every pay period. $604 increase out of their paycheck that they were overpaying in taxes. And that's every pay period that lasts perpetually as long as they keep the 470 business tax write-offs. This does not come through an LLC. This does not come through an S corporation. It does not come through a C corporation. It only comes through a home-based business that's teaching you and have those financial experts in place. I'm not talking about a home-based business that's telling you to sell more products, right? If you want to be a successful business owner, you want to stay in positive cash flow, what you have to do is to learn taxes. Again, not learn ratio, right? How to get the ratio of a circumference, not learn geometry, not read Shakespeare like they teach you in school. I'm not saying anything wrong with all that. But if you want to be successfully financially, you need a financial education, not a academic education. There's a difference. It's different types of education. It's vocational education. It's arts education. It's athletics education. But most people don't get a financial education. That's why you can be a successful athlete and make millions and then be broke, right? This is why a middle class person can have a more of a network and assets in their portfolio than a 6 or 7 figure income earner. If a person, for example, makes $1 million a year and they spend out $1,200,000, they are in a negative cash flow cycle, a negative network. And as I'm reaching my destination, because I'm getting ready to do a private webinar on how to get rich in a recession, If you want the link to that, if you want to come in and learn more in detail behind the scenes when I'm not driving, that number that you see text cash flow in, then change that to text the word link, LINK, link. Is going to start in exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes. But if you're watching this on the replay, you can just text cash flow. Now, what is cash flow? People really don't know what cash flow means. Cash flow is how your money flows. Where is it flowing from? What source? True cash flow comes from assets only. Again, assets is anything, any type of investment that puts money into your pocket. Liabilities is things that take money out of your pocket. Liabilities starve you. Assets feed you. I say this all the time. Do not work your ass off and do not have assets. Right? Let me say that again. Do not work your ass off and do not have assets. Assets put money in your pockets. Assets feed you. Liability starve you. Liability has a keyword. I just got an asset. Like I get this check in the mail residually every Monday and I don't work for it. Assets are things you don't have to work for, you don't have to labor for. In some cases, right? Like you can get gold and silver as an asset. You didn't have to labor for that, but somebody else had to mine it and get it. And speaking of gold and silver, Robert Kiyosaki, the greatest financial educator in the world, I think Robert Kiyosaki is the greatest when it comes to teaching financial education, hands down. The greatest when it comes to understand the past, present, and the present tense of money, the future of money. The greatest of understanding recessions, the greatest of understanding how to invest in assets, the greatest in understanding how to leverage and use credit to create wealth. Listen, don't let a rich person convince you that you don't need to learn how to use credit and debt to get assets because even rich people use credit and debt to get assets. They use their FICO score or their cash flow statements. So what is cash flow? I want you to think of water and how water flows, right? How water flows, whether it's in a stream or a lake or an ocean, right? Water flows effortlessly. Like I'm parking effortlessly, right? Water flows effortlessly. You don't need to take a paddle and make water flow. You don't have to blow, water in the stream or a lake or a river and make it flow. Water flows effortlessly. So when you have cash flowing assets, that money flow effortlessly. This check I just got, it flows to me effortlessly without my labor. This is somebody else's labor, somebody else's energy, somebody else's time, not mine. Cash flow is when you have your money, whether you work for that money, like maybe you did put in the effort and the work for it, but now you take it and you flip it into assets that do the work for you and work harder for you than you work to get to invest in it. That's cash flow. What cash flow streams do you have that you sincerely, honestly do not have to put any work forward to get a flow of money coming to you? That you have strategically invested in financial education? People, I'm logging off, but I'm going to say this. The greatest financial educator in the world. When I say in the world, it's just some people that stand in the category of their own that's known as the GOAT. Like Michael Jordan, right? To me, he's in the category of his own as the GOAT of basketball. I don't know who I don't know who that would be in football. So many great football players that come in the discussion of being the GOAT because there's so many different positions that a football player can be great in. But you have some baseball players, whether you think it's Hank Aaron or Yogi, right? I can't think of his first name. But you have some baseball players that's considered to be the GOAT in that profession. Michael Jordan is considered to be the GOAT in basketball, right? Other famous sports people that considered to be the GOAT. Oprah Winfrey, for example, considered to be the GOAT in talk show host television, right? The GOAT. Warren Buffett considered to be the GOAT in investing. Robert Kiyosaki is the GOAT when it comes to financial education. And Robert Kiyosaki says that silver within 4 months is going to be $500. He's predicting it because the dollar will crash. He said there's no reason for the poor working class, or some people just like for me to say working class, or the middle class not to invest in silver, because silver, according to Robert Kiyosaki, will make millionaires. And I'm telling some of you all you already have a cash flowing asset in a home-based business that teaches this, but you don't have any asset outside of that business. You don't have any asset that you can tangibly hold in your hand that comes from the earth, right? That you can have the control on when to sell it, when to take it back to the dealer and get a higher return on your investment. You want the most undervalued asset in the world right now in the form of a commodity compared to the price. That is silver. You need to invest in silver. If you become a wealth ambassador, when you go to the website, Queen of Coin Silver, you will see it. You want to choose option 2, because once you become a wealth ambassador under option 2, you can also get paid as you're investing in silver that can give you additional income stream. But cash flow is when you have assets, whether you are buying and holding to cash out when the time has come, that you don't have to mine silver. Somebody else mined that silver, but you're going to cash out and capitalize. Cash flow is money sources that comes from you and flow to you with little or maybe past work or little to no work of your own, or maybe no work at all. So if you want to learn about cash flow strategies, if you want to learn about paycheck tax strategies, how to get a refund every pay period, not waiting to file January the 1st, right? But every pay period, getting a tax refund out of your paycheck. Test cash flow also. It will help improve your personal credit scores as well by texting cash flow to the number on the screen. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Brian, for tuning in and commenting. And for those who will watch this on the replay, let's get rich, people, in this recession. Recessions are made to transfer wealth. You don't want to miss this window of opportunity. You don't want to miss out. And I will highly suggest, right, that you also research cryptocurrency, because between cryptocurrency and silver, those are the two most undervalued assets right now that you can get inexpensive for pennies on a dollar. But the thing is, most people don't have the extra or the additional cash flow to invest. And this is how I'm going to help you find the money to invest and to maximize your paycheck and to put your paycheck, people, on steroids. Put your paycheck on steroids so you can invest. All right, you all, if you want to be in a private webinar, just text me the link. Just text me the keyword link, LINK, and I will send you the link that starts in 1 hour. Queen out. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, share button, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.